Hello and welcome to Battlefield 1 News, and today is patch day. So this is the first big bug fixing patch and it's quite a big one, but I'm going to try and get through everything. The patching process should be as it normally is on Xbox One, PS4 or PC, so in my case it's updating through Origin on PC. The servers were down for a time today to do the patch, but that should all be over with, so it should update and then you'll be straight back into Battlefield 1. Now, as well as the patch notes, there have been a bunch of weapon balance changes, but I'm not going to go through those in this video. I'll cover those in a separate video when I've actually gone through all the Synthic stats and actually tried the weapons out in game. So the first of the big changes is to operations, and they've decided to make attacking easier on operations and grand operations. So 64 player grand operations, they've increased the maximum number of tickets for the attackers to 250. They've increased the number of tickets you gain from killing a retreated defender to 3. They've increased the number of tickets you regain from capturing a sector up to 50, and they've slightly reduced the time it takes to capture flags. For 40 players, they've increased the ticket count up to 200. They've increased the tickets you get from killing a defender to 3, and they've slightly reduced the time it takes to capture flags. Now, this does seem like an awful lot of changes. Now, they obviously see the stats for every round of operations played, but from what I've played, it seems challenging to be an attacker, but not impossible. Now it seems like the attackers are probably going to have the advantage and might win more. Maybe a couple of these changes should have been done first, tried those out, before they threw all of them at operations. Next we see some conquest changes, and this is to Suez. So Suez was the awful map with just 3 capture points in a straight line. They've now added 2 more capture points. They're still in a straight line, and it's still not a great map. I've played 5 games on it today, and I think the closest one was about 750 to 1000, and the worst one was 580 to 1000. So it still does turn into a steamroller, but it's a bit easier to fight back. So what they've done is they've added 2 additional flags to give it 5 flags. They've added 1 armoured car to either team. Now, that armoured car is actually part of the problem, because if you get in the armoured car and just drive straight for C to capture it, then you tend to have the advantage. If the other team doesn't do that, then you end up with 3 flags straight away at the start. And they've reduced the size of the capture area around the old A and B flags, so those were the original ones that were in the buildings, and now there are less buildings you can actually be in to capture those flags. So Suez now plays better than it did before, but it still can turn into a steamroller where one side just works its way through the map and the other side basically now just gets its spawn and 1 flag. There's always been a problem with maps that have its flags in a straight line, especially on maps like this where the flanks really don't have any cover. So the only way you can try and get around and flank is basically on a horse is probably the best way. At the moment, if you do try pushing left and right, you often just get sniped, so maybe this map needs some more cover put in. Now we get onto the general changes and bug fixes, and like I say, there are a lot of those, but I will try and go through them. You can now customise your soldier from the actual main menu, so either in the home screen or if you go to the actual soldier screen, you can change your loadout in there. You don't have to go into game to change your loadout, you can now do it in the menus. You can now request a change of squad leader in game, so if your squad leader isn't giving out orders, you can request to be the squad leader. If he doesn't issue an order within 60 seconds after that request, you become the squad leader and he gets demoted to just being a normal member of the squad. If you're playing Rush, then when you play the same map as attacker and defender, you will get the same weather conditions. So previously, if you were played as an attacker, you could have a bright sunny day, but then when you were defending, the fog could roll in. Now it's going to be the same weather conditions for both attacking and defending. 64 player operations is now going to be the default for that mode, and the pigeon is going to be visible from a longer distance in the war pigeon game mode. I don't know if that means while it's in the air or while somebody's carrying it. I haven't tried this out yet, but I will have a look. Of these next items, I've tried some of them, but it was telling me that they weren't available yet. It might well be available now, but at the time I was making this video, I couldn't get any of these options to work. Now it says you can purchase battle packs from the Get Battle Packs menu. That wasn't an available option to me. It was there, but it wasn't working. They've added 2 tabs to the store, RSP and Battle Packs. You can now rent servers through that RSP tab. It does come up as a beta option. I haven't tried it myself, but it is there if you want to try it. You can buy battle packs in the store, except you can't, because when I just tried it, it came up and said that the option was unavailable. And we have you can join custom games from multiplayer. I've tried that and it just says coming soon. So Fog of War's coming soon, Hardcore's coming soon, and the official custom games are coming soon. It does give you the ability to create a custom game, but that basically takes you to the rent a server option. A big change that everybody's wanted is the quit button is now available at any time when in the end of round screens. It is available, but when I try it now, it just hangs the game, so I then have to Control-Alt-Delete to shut down Battlefield 1. I know this happens to various people before this patch, but now it's happening to me after this patch. So yeah, there is a quit button, but it doesn't always seem to work. They've added tutorial videos for each game mode. Squad XP boost has been added. Now this is a bit like the XP boosters from Battlefield 4. You get it in a battle pack, but it only gives a boost to squad XP, so that's things like squad resupplies, squad vengeance kills, all of the squad abilities like spawning and giving orders and following orders. That kind of stuff is what it gives an XP boost to. It lasts for an hour, and like I say, you get it in a battle pack. It doesn't replace anything in the battle pack, so as far as I know, you can get a weapon skin, a puzzle piece and an XP boost in the same battle pack. This one's a bit of a shame, but prone soldiers can no longer be pushed by other friendly soldiers. So if you've got a sniper prone at the edge of a cliff, you now can't go prone behind him and push him off the cliff. There's a fix so both teams have the correct motorcycles in Conquest on Sinai Desert. I didn't notice that there was an imbalance, but apparently there was. Added minimum resolution scale when dynamically scaling. Yep, I assume that's something important, but I have no idea what that is. Fix for some environments causing unsmooth kill cam experience. So you'd often get a very jerky kill cam if there were lots of effects or there was lots of mud around. Fix for elite class dog tag not being unlocked correctly. Now I don't know if this is retroactive, but now when you get all those kills with the elite class, you should get the dog tag for it. They fixed a graphical issue when you were aiming down sights on multiple monitor setups. They fixed a respawn issue when auto-spawning vehicles in operation. So this is when you try spawning into a boat or onto a horse and you'd end up just either swimming or on the ground as a cavalry guy because no horses would spawn. They fixed cloth popping when a ragdoll settles, so people lying on the floor shouldn't have their clothes waving around anymore. Repair tools can now damage fortress guns. When you're moving while prone, you'll no longer have footsteps as if you were walking around. Fixed an issue on amens where a player could fall through the level if exiting a light tank next to the Mark V wreck. Never knew that was there. Spotting flares either from scouts or from airplanes will now persist after the character dies or the pilot exits the plane. Added ground collision on capture flags. Fixed so soldier collision does not block pigeon release, so if you release the pigeon and there was somebody stood right in front of you, well, the pigeon wouldn't go anywhere. They've improved the anti-aliasing on PS4 and Xbox One. They fixed issues where soldiers' bodies would be at the wrong angle while they were running up a slope. They fixed an issue when a player could be catapulted across the map if they were moving prone between two structures. You will no longer get points for destroying your own team's behemoth. I didn't even know that was an option. Fix for a battle summary logic being broken if a player died right before an operation ends. Fixed an issue where a horse could die in mid-sector transition if it didn't have a rider and was out of bounds. If it was out of bounds, what difference does it make? Fix for an issue that would cause incorrect aiming while on a horse. Now this had something to do with the lean left, lean right ability that you have with a sword. and somehow that worked with the gun as well. There's a fix so that if you picked up a pigeon that already had a fully written message, it wouldn't play the sounds as if you were writing a message for the pigeon. Fix for a black bar at the side of the screen when equipping the gas mask, and the capture point flags will now match the actual state of the capture points if you join a game late. Fix for extreme weather desync between players after rejoining a server. So if there was things like a sandstorm and you rejoined a server, you could end up being at the start of the sandstorm effect when everybody else on the server was at the end of the sandstorm effect. So you could have a sandstorm when nobody else did. They fix for the missing score when attacking Behemoth, so when you fire your AA gun at the airship, you should now get a score rather than just getting a hit marker. Fix for fire damage being cancelled if the player got damaged by barbed wire fence. So if you were on fire from an incendiary grenade and ran into a barbed wire fence, the flames went out. They fixed the incorrect number of vehicles for each team at the start of a conquest round. I don't know what that is. Several localization fixes. Removed invisible collision behind the horse. Syringe's damage now scales with how long the player has had the button held down. Players can no longer switch teams near the end of a round, so you can't switch onto the winning team for extra XP. There have been some CPU optimizations and some DX12 optimizations, but unless you're on an AMD card, do not use DX12 because Nvidia cards just haven't got the drivers for it at the moment. Weapon reloading is now aborted when climbing ladders. Third-party animations for horses have been fixed. They fixed an issue where a player could be thrown in the air when approaching the top of a ladder. Fix so soldiers in stationary weapons can be road killed. Fixes for several DX12 crashes, fixes for several client clashes, fixed flamethrower visual effects when using the flamethrower in tunnels and under terrain. Critical gameplay hints will now be shown 3 times and then never be seen again. Fix for several video crashes related to window size, hardware detection and multiple monitors. Fix for squad orders not being reset between rounds in operations. They fixed a glitch if you had aim down sights and sprinting both on a toggle option. If you were sprinting and aim down sights, it would stop them both. Now it will stop the sprint, but you will aim down sights properly. Fixed an issue where the scroll wheel would rotate the view after disabling raw mouse input. Fixed an issue where the horse didn't take damage from gas grenades, incendiary grenades and debris, so you now can set a horse on fire. Fix for the end of round transition not always triggering correctly if you were dead. Artillery shell stacks now deal damage corresponding to the FX radius, so when you saw a massive explosion from the artillery shell, the damage radius was actually much smaller, but they've now fixed that. Slightly lowered the loading times between maps. Fixed for an issue where the player could spawn in with the wrong kit, e.g. the tanker kit when spawning into an airplane. Never had that myself. Fixed an issue in operations where a player joining their party leader to a different map would end up with a black screen after opening the in-game menu. Never had that one. General performance improvements related to edge models. Fixed for players sometimes skipping levels in class rank progression. So they finally fixed all of the class ranks. You now will level up properly. Unfortunately, some people got to rank 10 in everything really quickly, but there's nothing they can do about that now. They're not going to penalise people for the fact that their game didn't work properly. All vehicles should now be available on the pre-game spawn screen. They fixed an issue where CPU performance would be hit really hard by destroyed buildings, and that would mean a lower frame rate. Fixed a faulty third-party soldier animation related to entering and exiting a vehicle. Fixed an issue where the end of an operations screen would actually be displayed over the deploy screen if you were in that deploy screen when the operation ended. Fixed an issue where the player could lose control over vehicles by opening Origin Overlay 2 times. I always turn all the Origin overlays off when I'm playing because it really does affect the game in lots of different ways, and it also means that a lot of recording software and other bits of software just don't work, so turn all the Origin in-game overlays off. They fixed an issue where certain colours in emblems were affecting an entire character. Fixed for players not being able to switch team in Team Deathmatch. Fixed a problem where a player on a horse could get stuck in debris in the mountain bridge on Sinai Desert collapses. So when that stone arch went down. I imagine if you were underneath it on a horse you could get stuck, or if you're on top of it on a horse, but I guess that must have been a really rare problem. Fixed an issue where underwater visual effects would trigger when taking damage above water. Okay. Squads are no longer auto-locked if less than 3 players join the server as a party. So you shouldn't see lots of locked squads with 2 people in anymore. To be honest, I probably preferred it if, unless it was a group of 5, it auto-locked, or maybe 4, but at least it's something. And we're on to the final page of general fixes. Fix for an issue where if a player accepted a friend's invitation to a full server, the player would be stuck in the lobby with a reserved slot message and just never join the server even if a space appeared. Fix an issue where the game would freeze when entering certain parts of the UI. They fixed an issue where the UI wouldn't show your game rank properly. Fix for a couple of issues related to the wrong items being highlighted in the UI. Hopefully that's medals, because sometimes you'd click on one medal, that would be highlighted. When you went into the game you'd find that another medal was active, although medals are just broken and I haven't seen any fixes for those in this. Fix an issue where you could not scrap puzzle pieces. Fix an issue where vehicle stats would not update. Fix an issue when trying to quick match for the second time. And fix an issue where you could not open the pause menu after joining another round. So there are some more fixes, but these are platform specific. So the PC fixes are: they fixed an issue where you could not see all the party members, fixed an issue where you would get multiple dialogues when deleting a filter, and players can now disable aim assist for controllers. On the PS4 they fixed an issue when joining on a friend that is already in the same party and on the same server, the player would get stuck in a hung state, and there's a fix for the decorated trophy not being awarded correctly. On the Xbox One they fixed an issue where a bad rep player is not taken into a party and the gamer card disappears from the comm center after accepting the party invite. I have no idea what that is. Fix for bad reputation users being able to communicate with non-friend users when in the same squad in online modes. Fix for a crash to the Xbox home screen after attempting to join a game session via the Xbox One guide whilst the title is suspended on the main menu. And fix for an issue where users could get stuck in an endless loading loop when attempting to return to the main menu from the campaign screen following an Xbox profile sign-in change during a suspended state. I have no idea what any of those mean, but they've been fixed. Right, well that's it. That's the entire patch notes for this Battlefield 1 patch. Took a while, but we've gone through all of them. Unfortunately, medals haven't been fixed, which would have been nice. But we do have some much needed fixes to Operations and Conquest. Well, the Suez map on Conquest, that really needed looking at. It's better, but it's not great. We also got quite a lot of in-game fixes for bugs. Those are always great. And who knows, maybe renting servers does work. I'm not going to try it because it's in beta. I'm not spending money on a server to test their own stuff. And we might get the hardcore mode and the War of Fog mode and custom games soon, and maybe buying battle packs will be an option. They're in the patch notes, and I'm making this video a good 6 hours after the patch actually went live, but those functions are not available. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I really need a drink, so thanks for watching, and I'll bring you more Battlefield 1 news when it happens. And that will probably be tomorrow, because Battlefest launches tomorrow. So that's Wednesday the 16th of November. Keep a lookout on battlefield.com and on the Battlefield Facebook and Twitter. They're going to be live streaming the announcement of Battlefest, so that's probably worth watching, but I will do a news thing on it tomorrow when we know what the details are. Thanks for watching.